Hello, Aries. Here's your horoscope for the month of June 2020. A friendly Sun-Venus conjunction in outgoing Gemini on June 3rd gives you the chance to add more important dates to your social calendar. New connections made now might only be temporary due to the Venus being retrograde, but they each serve a very specific and short-term beneficial purpose. You're testing during the Sun-Mars square on the 6th, but it's so satisfying to see the looks on your critics' faces when you pass with flying colors. You might be down for a little while, but you always manage to spring back up eventually, and better than you were before, much to the disappointment of your haters. A dreaded Mercury retrograde period starts on June 17th, so be careful when doing do-it-yourself projects around the house. We have some excellent ideas about how to make changes without spending a lot of money, but cutting corners can lead to unforeseen complications. Relationships get back on track and start moving forward again when Venus goes direct in easygoing Gemini on the 24th, but you might not be entirely out of the woods just yet. It's easy to forgive, but much harder to forget. Powerful Mars enters your enthusiastic sign on June 27th, so take full advantage of this forceful energy. When you grab the initiative, you show everyone that you aren't afraid to take on new challenges. What does Aries need to know about the spiritual, emotional, intellectual, social, and physical aspects of the self in June of 2020? Spiritual, Queen of Swords. Intellectual, Queen of Pentacles. Physical, Seven of Swords. Social, Prince of Pentacles. Emotional, Queen of Cups. So you got three queens here. With the Queen of Swords and your spiritual, I would be wary of the cruel aspects of yourself. Um, you're going to get a lot of insight, intuitive knowledge to things that are going on in your life. But it's good to sit there and hold your sword close, which is your words. Swords are words. Don't just throw them out there and be cruel. Be wary of karma. Don't be jealous. But that could coincide with the Queen of Pentacles and your intellectual. But as far as your spiritual, if you're really connected to your spiritual side, it'll help you a lot with doing with dealing with those, the intellectual side or the emotional side, that, throughout the month. So try to be like that Queen of Swords there. With the Queen of Pentacles, this is all about your intellectual though. So ego, thinking you're better than others, or um, thinking you're a great person, even though deep down inside you may have this Queen of Swords here on your spiritual aspect, being an Aries and all. But Queen of Pentacles is friendly, kind of down to earth, can be generous. But this is intellectual, so it's what your thoughts are going through. Um, Physical, we'll get into that, and your spiritual is where it connects here. With the Seven of Swords here, it's showing her like kind of disregarding the potential truths that are underlying or not you're not paying attention to. It's your physical self, so it may have to be just being in shape or getting more exercise or eating right, or I mean, putting yourself in risky situations that might get you hurt. Let's see here. It ties with the Prince of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. Remember the Queen of Pentacles here, being friendly, but also like arrogant with your beauty, possibly, or inconsiderate. That's what it is. Inconsiderate to others' self-esteem on their physical appearance, possibly, or how they think and feel about themselves. Being like, well, that's your problem, not mine. Let's see, Prince of Pentacles. He's kind of stubborn. This is your social aspect. So, once again, this is you, Aries, kind of just being like, yeah, this is who I am. Whether you like it or not, I don't really care. This is what I'm about. This is what I do. It relates to your physical aspects and your emotional aspects of yourself. You know, what's yours is yours. Look at that. He's holding the pinnacle over here. He's not like willing to just give it out. Stubborn, like I said. With the Queen of Cups, predictable, unreliable comes up. Once again, the ego, about your emotional self. You're like, hey, I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm happy with myself. I look at me. I'm all that in a bag of chips. And I'm spiritually got my sword up here because it connects your spiritual and social self. I mean, you're being quite queeny here. Socially being a prince here. So, I mean, this could be a necessary thing depending on your situation. Maybe you're in a certain environment where you need to be that way, but it could be that you don't need to be that way, and that's what you need to work on or learn about. Just remember the horoscope. Look into your own horoscope. Look up your natal chart and figure it out for yourself. I'm just here to paint or add to the picture that you have for yourself. From the ego, what does Aries need to think or hear or consider about the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social, and physical self in June of 2020? The Tower for spiritual. The Griffin of Chalices for intellectual. The Sun for physical. Nine of Books for your social. And Eight of Swords for your emotional. Okay, so with the Tower here, it's kind of like showing you that there's this being over here being like, boom, break it down. Or I smite a little chip off your shoulder there. Boom. And this is all about having a reality check. I mean, with the spiritual self, maybe there's a lot to be learned yet about spiritual, what you believe in, and you're being stubborn, so if you don't do it, it will be done for you. With the Griffin of Chalices, with great power comes responsibility, is pretty much the meaning of this card. and it's on your Queen of Pentacles intellectual self. This is, you know, it's not like you're wrong about how smart you are or what you know. It's just that you're not in tune, very balanced. Your intellectual self is up here, and your spiritual self is down here, and you think it's up here, but it's not. So, you with this great power of intellect, you could be using it to continue research on spirituality, and you're possibly not. This also ties to the physical self. Um, so, if you look at the Seven of Swords here, it shows the moon, you know, kind of like walking towards the moon, but not looking directly at it. Kind of look off to the side, like you know better. With the sun, this is like sharing what you know and being that bright light for the world. Um, you know, and bringing nurturing aspects from a divine aspect of yourself. And then remember what I said about the Seven of Swords here, with the arrogance of disregarding the truths that are buried in the, you know, underlying energies or underlying things that are going on, and disregarding them. If you were to stand more like the sun with the swords down here and being like, yeah, so what? I'm trying to show you how I overcome or how I deal with the faults that I have, and others could be inspired by that or learn from what you do or what you know about the self of being a human, I guess. And it also ties to the social self. So with the Nine of Books, this is kind of like your your social self has become a monster that has become almost your god, your deity of yourself. Like you almost worship yourself, especially with the Prince of Pentacles here, holding on to what you've earned or what you've done with yourself. Be careful with this, because this is saying that the next month, in June, you're gonna have a moment for the future, kind of like with the social self, social aspects of your life, that depending on how you reflect this yourself to others, if you do it with this monster that you currently created from yourself, of yourself, it's gonna go back to the tower up here with spiritual self, and it may take a little bit of long time, but it's gonna end up not being worth it or causing you more trouble than it's worth. And it ties down here to the sun, remember, in your physical self. So this is about, I'm all that in a bag of chips, I don't care. This doesn't mean like, oh, well, I'm overweight, how could that be? You know, there's plenty of people who are overweight and say, oh, I'm sexy, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's not the point of actually how you actually look. It's all about how you feel about how you look. It also ties to your emotional self. So with the Eight of Swords, it's, you know, this is kind of like the Beauty and the Beast card. The Beast has got a sword in him and he's holding a rose, and the Beauty's tied up here. But it was on the Queen of Cups. Remember how she was like, it's like she's the Eight of Swords is telling me that your Queen of Cups emotional self is covering up for something that you're not letting come to the surface or you're not dealing with. And don't take this like you're being attacked by a beast here. I'm trying to give you a rose. And, you know, we all have our swords in ourselves, or our pains and suffering that we've dealt with in the past. And it ties to the spiritual self. From the shadow, what is the spiritual, intellectual, emotional, social, and physical aspects of the self for Aries in June of 2020? For spiritual self, we have death. intellectual self, we have strength. Physical self, we have King of Pentacles. Social self, we have Seven of Wands. And emotional self, we have Ten of Pentacles. So from the spiritual self, we have the Queen of Swords. That kind of, your words, the swords here, you're holding them close. The spiritual, you don't speak about the spiritual much. There's a lot going on possibly that you could learn or know more about, but you're tying with the intellectual self and emotional self. Your arrogance and your ego are kind of getting in your way. The Tower is you're either gonna do it on your own and then bring up that spiritual awareness of yourself and knowledge that you know, or it's going to be done for you. And the Death is telling you, don't be afraid of what some people would call ego death, or a spiritual death and rebirth. So like, this is a Phoenix card. No, don't be afraid of a new path. Maybe, like I said, expanding on what you know spiritually, tying to your intellectual self. Intellectual self, you had the Queen of Pentacles. The friendly aspect, on your thoughts, you don't want to be cruel. Your spiritual self can be. The Griffin of Chalices, great power comes great responsibility and consideration towards others. And then strength is taming the beast within, with compassion for not only just yourself, and kind of like having a healing of the self with the spiritual aspect up here, and that Death and Tower of the Queen of Swords. Force of the spirit can win over the arrogance of yourself, which also ties to the physical aspect of yourself. So with the physical self, you have that Seven of Swords, kind of disregarding some truths or some words that are trying to come up, but you're not listening, not looking at the moon either, and just kind of off in your own world. You could be the sun, teaching others about, instead of just being silent about your truths or the words that are trying to come up. You speak up and be that leader. King of Pentacles here is, showing that he's looking off to the side a little bit, either meditating or looking for advice about how to do this, or doing the Seven of Swords thing again, but in a different, looking at the different way. So looking that way with your back turned, you're looking that way with your back not turned. So, but in the middle you have the sun. But this is all about the physical self. Maybe you could be a instructor in the gym, or some kind of physical trainer, or if you're out in the riots, heaven forbid, but instead of these glorious, wonderful truths that could be coming up, and being that sun, you might be doing something you shouldn't be doing with your physical self, putting yourself in risk. And you should be like that king here, being a leader with the sun illuminating how things can be better with creative solutions, instead of they won't listen to me, I'm going to throw a fit and just burn shit. Like run for office, maybe. or promote somebody you think can do what you need and be more physical of that. But this is all about the physical self. So I'm just thinking that you don't need to be putting yourself in danger. Which also ties to your social self. The physical self ties to the social self and the intellectual self. So that's why I said the things I said. And then with this, the social self, you have the Prince of Pentacles and the Nine of Books, and then Seven of Wands. So Seven of Wands is kind of like that protest. It's the protest card, defending yourself and going out against the enemy. But you might be this little guy here, going against the big old freaking government, right? Or you might be in the government fighting these little guys. Remember, beware of what is your god, or what you inadvertently worship but aren't acknowledging that you do, because you're arrogant about yourself, and this is your social self. So this is all about social aspects of your life. So just be careful that your social aspects, it's like being a ruler of your own life, but you're ruling with the idea of something you worship, and you're trying to defend that, and it just all ties in together that you need to be careful with how you're who you are as a person might be come to a boiling point and then blow up, and it's going to cause more problems than it's worth, which ties into the emotional self. The emotional self is the Queen of Cups, being that higher than thou. I feel good about myself. Beauty and the Beast there. Everybody's got a sword in them from their past, or what they've been through. Carrying that rose and coming around that corner of the Beauty screaming, but not realizing that there's a rose being brought to her and that he's going to break the chains. This is all the inner self, though. Some people might be looking at men are bad and are nasty beasts that are going to come and kill you, but in reality, the divine masculine has been painted a certain way, and the divine feminine has as well, being all tied up. Let's break her free. Let's give him some love. Let's pull that sword out. The Ten of Pentacles here is all about doing the hard work, not taking shortcuts. Excuse me. You could just disregard all this and continue doing what you're doing, but that's the easy way out. Do the hard work on building who you are, and getting that self-worth up, how much you value yourself, even though you might be covering up and being like, I feel fine, there's nothing wrong with me, which ties to the spiritual self. Foxfire the Kitsune, what message do you have for Aries in June of 2020? Sunlight after darkness. After a time of challenges and hurt, there comes a time when the sweet joys of life gently begin to return. They will steal into your life so quietly that, for many, the signs of this beautiful change will go unnoticed. But with the turn of this card, you now know that the time of new light will be awakening in and around you. Now, if you tune in, you will begin to see the signs that there is a sweetness returning, that a smile or two fleets across your lips, that you awaken more easefully and greet the day with a sense that today will be a kinder, better place than yesterday. You will notice others responding to you warmly and slowly, oh so slowly, you begin to believe that perhaps there is a way forward, and that you will once again find happiness. It is too soon to speak of being exuberant or enthusiastic, but this tender, very fragile new time will grow when you tend to it, when you encourage it, and when you begin to notice that you are at last healing from the wounds life has dealt you. There will be no going back into the darkness. This is not temporary. You can trust this, and with your trust, it will gather strength and begin to take root. This sunlit time will grow brighter and become stronger as you feed it with your belief and gratitude. So do this, friend, and know that what was will never be again. For now, you are in the time of new light. What power animal has a message for Aries in June of 2020? Raccoon. Resourcefulness. You have all the resources you need. Everything you need is right in front of you if you only look. There's no need to be refusing about this and that, creating drama and turmoil, worrying about whether you have enough the next hour, the next day, or the next week. Whatever you need will be there. You might have to forage a little, but it will. Trust that there's nothing to fret or worry about. Not really. Use your brain and your intuition in partnership do not only help you solve the problem, but actually solve the problem. At first, it may not be obvious where to look. That's why you have to poke around a bit until you turn up what you need for this or any other situation. Sometimes when you follow your hunch and look under the couch for your lost wallet, you find the wallet, and don't get tweaked if all the steps you take don't lead to an immediate solution. Don't proceed blindly or out of anxiety or fear. It's impossible to hear your intuition or your brain when you're jumping around randomly. So relax, trust that what you need will turn up. Additional associations: stealth, ingenuity, cleverness, dexterity. Sacred power. What message is there for Aries in June of 2020? Illusion. Appearances are not what they seem. You need more information. There are no dead ends in a labyrinth. It appears as if you are continuously going around in a circle. Labyrinths are temples that insist on uncovering the truth, bringing enlightenment of spirit and consciousness. From a distorted reality, one is never truly lost within it. Within the labyrinth, we find our own internal compass to lead us in the right direction, awakening and unifying our spirit within the cosmos. This illusion of time and space represents the distortion of your own reality. The labyrinth is an exercise in your soul's development. The illumination of self pushes towards an individual experience so you can make informed decisions. Although it may feel like your senses are misleading you, deep down you know the outcome as you have already been here before. Illusions can fool and mislead you into believing a situation is ideal or a person is genuine in their interest or affection, when in fact it is the opposite. People can present themselves as helpful, but have a secret agenda. Be careful now in your approach to others. The way forward is blurred with smiling assassins. Don't believe everything you hear or see right now. Stay alert. Caution is required for you to see through the smoke and mirrors. Without you seeing the full picture, an error in judgment is likely to occur. The key here is to see through the illusion of glamour and helpfulness to what is going on behind the situation. False ideas and beliefs are currently influencing you. Researching your ideas or pursuits further will give you clarity and deeper insight prior to any decision making. Distractions are everywhere right now. Your soul's compass is asking you to reassess your direction to uncover your true path. Does this action or decision bring you closer to your life's purpose? Affirmation: I hear deep messages with strength and clarity from my soul. My soul knows the way forward. I trust my inner guidance. Divine Circus, what message you have for Aries in June of 2020? brilliant virgin. In a world where we are bombarded daily with differing opinions and ideas, remaining true to you and your own point of view is nothing short of brilliant. Let go of confusion, distortion, compassion, and compromise. You do not need to compare yourself to another or measure up to anyone or anything else. What matters to you in your successful life journey is to be in touch with your own truths. You know what you feel no matter what anyone else says or believes. Stay true to you. We need to be bold of heart and have a lot of faith when there is an idea within us yet to be manifested in the world. We have to trust in what we see in our hearts, even if sometimes the eyes in our heads see things rather differently. We have to trust that the inner vision, the hope, the dream within us is going to be strong enough to stand the rigors of birth and be able to come to life in the world. Sometimes we have to trust that we are enough, that we have goodness, value, and worth, and so are worth the time, effort, patience, and commitment required to transform our ideas into realities. The Oracle of the Brilliant Virgin brings you a message. Stay true to you and your course. Do not allow yourself to be swayed by another, no matter how well-meaning their intentions may be or how impressive their arguments may seem. You see now, feel, believe in something that is good, pure and true, that needs to come to life in this world. It is meant to be original, so people may not get it straight away. It is meant to happen through you because you understand it in a way that others may not. This could be a choice to do with health, lifestyle, relationships, money, or work. It could also be a project, an idea, a creative expression, dream, or vision that you are growing in your heart. There are times when it's wise to open up to creative collaboration and to compromise for a great venture to move ahead. This is not one of those times. Don't be afraid. Some people believe that unless you compromise, success cannot happen. This is not true for you at this time. Do not water down the strength of your vision, your dream. You are meant to be birthing something unique into being. The world needs your originality. Pray for courage, trust yourself. Wisdom of the Oracle. What message do we have for Aries in June of 2020? All that glitters. A need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, being mercurial. It's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them and how they symbolically will evaluate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you still desire the object or person? Sometimes we try to become something we're not to impress others. We embellish a story a bit, adding some dramatic elements to make us more appealing. The real person becomes hidden behind the sparkle and shine. Then there are times when we don't see the true value of someone else because he or she may not have the glitz and glamour that seems so desirable. Now is the time to look past the surface, beyond the mask, to the essence of a person. Who that person is, not what he or she has or can give you, is important. See beyond the glitter and look for the inner glow. Use the eyes in your heart. Let go of artifice and let what is authentic shine. Sometimes an opportunity looks so good that it glitters like gold, and you just can't resist it, especially when it appears others are doing so well and have hit the mother lode. During the American Gold Rush, everyone hurried west to find their fortune, and then deserted entire towns after the mining depleted the gold veins in the earth. So too can you deplete yourself as you chase after the latest shiny thing that has caught your eye. There is a mercurial quality to your present circumstance. Pay no attention to those who chase after fool's gold. Resist the temptation to be jealous of others. What they have achieved may not be the true success you seek. So don't compare yourself to them. You see only the surface right now, only the sparkle. Be assured that you will experience your own shining moment if you stick to what you know. All that glitters may not be gold for you. This is a signal to walk away from what you're contemplating. There is a thin veneer of glitter and sparkle that masks something rotten underneath. Pursuing it will only bring about a difficult situation you will be sorry you got yourself into. Stay away. Isn't it wonderful how Spirit protects you? Better things await. Cosmic, what message do you have for Aries in June of 2020? New chapter. You're being nudged to move forward. Take that next step. A new adventure awaits. Interchange and transformation has been occurring within you. Your soul now yearns to take that next step, a leap of faith into the unknown. A new chapter awaits with new opportunities and adventures. Your heart has been nudging you forward for some time now, but the cautious mind has kept you at bay. Don't let fears of the unknown hold you back in a place that offers no growth. More than anything, your soul longs to grow and evolve. Staying where you are does not give you room to soar to new heights of spiritual awareness and full consciousness. This part of the journey can be quite difficult, not only for you, but for those around you. Go through the process, honor your feelings and the feelings of those involved, but don't stay in this state of discontent. Honor this period, but move through it with courage, strength, and determination. Breathe deep and release all fears, doubts, and concerns. Follow your heart, listen to your intuition and guidance. Believe in yourself. Don't trouble yourself with the opinions and expectations of others. This is your life, and you know what is truly best for you. Although you can't see it, your next chapter brings wondrous lessons for the growth that is needed for your soul. Be true to yourself always and trust that Spirit will guide you your way. Take some time out and reflect on nature's wisdom to guide you through this period. Rest assured that smooth roads are ahead. Prayer. Great Spirit, guide me through this transition and give me the courage to make choices that help my soul to grow. Associated chakras. Solar plexus, heart. Isis, what message do you have for Aries in June of 2020? Divine Guardian. Protection of the Winged Mother. You are venturing through a time of significant spiritual growth and healing. There are many changes occurring internally, and they will be reflected in your external world soon also. You are protected during these times by the love and strength of the Winged Mother, Lady Isis. You can relax and allow your transformation to happen. Let your Divine Guardian protect you now, as you learn to let go and trust in your own unfoldment for the greatest good. Big spiritual growth can bring difficult challenges. Through such challenges, an initiate can gain wisdom, power, and awareness, and leave behind fears that once held them captive, free from past restrictions, free to live a life that is truly extraordinary and inspirational. Yet the challenges can feel deeply confronting. The initiate may be tested to stay true to their own beliefs, even if their loved ones do not understand or support them, or they may be required to let go of what they have known to embrace something completely unfamiliar, and this may be uncomfortable for them, and they may fear losing love, support, safety, or friendship as they venture into a new life. These kinds of spiritual growth opportunities are presented when the initiate is ready for them. Even though this readiness might not seem obvious, the oracle of the Divine Guardian arises because you, dear initiate of the light, are venturing into a significant time on your spiritual path. This is a process cooking within you, and which may already be mirrored in your outer life circumstances that are actually challenging you to grow. It might look like an opportunity, or it might appear as a crisis, but no matter what the appearance, you are being guided to take the risk that intuitively feel right for you and have faith. You will be safely guarded by the unconditional love of the Lady Isis, with wings outstretched and sword of truth in hand, protected from false images that would lead you astray from your true path. This oracle is also confirmation you have been receiving impressions and inner nudges that are from your higher guidance, which has been helping you with situations that are currently unfolding in your life and will continue to do so. You are spiritually speaking on the right track. No matter whether your life circumstances appear to be heading in one direction at one moment and then in a completely different direction in the next moment, or whether you feel things are a certain way in truth only to find that the next day they seem to be different. These are all just signs of growth into a new consciousness. Life does not have to be fixed or even clear at all times in order for you to be safe. Isis is with you. All is well. This oracle comes as guidance that if you have been worried about another, they have that they are protected. Whether this is someone alive in this time or a being that has departed the physical world and returned to spirit, they are free from suffering, pain, and trauma now, and all is well. If you wish to send blessing to such a beloved, you can do so with the incantation below. Starseed message for Aries, June of 2020. Baby steps. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. You're being called to take grounded action in response to your soul's calling, to start where you are and begin building in a consistent way. So many people stop themselves from living a soul-led life because they're waiting to know the destination before taking the first step. But intuition doesn't work like that. Our soul is always calling us, every moment of every day. The way to find yourself living in harmony with the cosmos is to listen to your soul's baby calls and whispers each and every day, and to take grounded action in the direction of those calls and whispers. You're being encouraged to start small, bite-sized, to put one foot in front of the other, to do one thing every day, to break things down into achievable tasks. Time on Earth goes slower than on other planets. This may cause frustration for starseeds, who can expect a faster pace of manifestation and thus give up before the seeds begin to sprout. If you resonate with that, it's time to opt for consistency over urgency. Time to take baby steps in the direction of your calling. To remember that you don't need to have it all figured out or know exactly where the path is leading you. You don't have to know every single step along the way before you set out on your great journey. You just need to take that next step. Starseed Soul Inquiry. What's one simple baby step you can take in the direction of your soul's calling? And that's your reading, Aries, for June 2020. Leave a like, subscribe, click the links, email me. See you next month.